Peter, welcome to TiEcon. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your focus, mobility. CA has been doing this for over 30 years, as you mentioned earlier. Big focus has been security, and lately you have been looking at the evolving trends in technology, and you said mobility is where we want to focus, and security is also a big part of mobility.
Absolutely.
So wanted you to take you from there.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, so 33 years actually in helping large, medium-sized companies with some of the toughest IT challenges in the industry. And when you look at that today, the big transformations and innovations being driven by leading companies are often in some way related to mobile. In fact, 70% of IT-related patents that are being taken out looking at future innovation are related to mobile. So at CA Technologies, we have a huge focus on end-to-end management of that mobile supply chain and infrastructure. Of course, BYOD in companies is a massive change, huge change in the economics of client computing, but it goes way beyond the device. It's mobile infrastructure for automobiles, mobile infrastructure for healthcare, mobile infrastructure for banking. Now, mobile, when you start to put mobile applications or manage mobile devices, drives unprecedented change back through IT ecosystems. It's often a big lever in terms of putting up new cloud-based systems to help expand capacity. It's a big driver in terms of the change in development life cycles within organizations. You know, as we download mobile apps, our attention span is getting shorter and shorter. That app better get smarter. That means that companies who are perhaps used to delivering software once a year or sometimes even longer need to figure out how to deliver high-quality software in months, weeks, and in some cases days in terms of cycles. So big changes that CA is helping our customers drive in implementing new supply chains for DevOps. And underpinning all of that, as you said, is security. These systems of connectivity, systems of engaging customers, employees, partners, are built on trust, and underpinning those systems has to be security of the highest quality. And as you start to look at mobile and the cloud-based systems that it often leverages, security has to be able to span those systems. I need to be able to, my experience needs to be simple. Again, if you make my experience complicated, how long are you going to stay online if you have to keep logging in? But that mobile identity needs to span cloud applications with the highest degree of trust in who I am. And we're investing very, very heavily in partnering with leading edge technologies in all of these spaces to ensure that we can bring that to our customers.
You know, when you talk about mobility, people always think of your device, which is your phone basically. It's your smartphone. But for you, it is beyond a phone. It is about cars, it is about homes, a lot of other things. So if you can just share with us.
Sure. I mean, today phone is definitely the most prevalent. But of course, the footprint of the phone, as we think about it today, in 10 years' time, probably we won't recognize it. Today we can build mobile connected computing devices as small as a postage stamp, and they can be inserted on a chair, on a cell phone tower, and of course we're seeing, I was actually just in the UK earlier this week where they were very proud to announce that they've now legally going to allow pilots of autopilot cars on the roads, and we're seeing that in California, we're seeing that in other parts of the world. So this idea of mobile connected devices, of which phone is definitely the most prevalent today, is going to transform the way people interact with IT. Really, when you think about IT over the last 10, 20 years, it's been a lot of back office automation, systems integration, which is table stakes today. The innovation, the new value that organizations are driving and innovating in to differentiate themselves is around that consumer interaction, and that is more often than not a mobile interaction. And that's a lot of what we're seeing in the industry.
So when you talk about innovation within your company, or when you're trying to either look for smart actual technologies that you want to absorb in a company, how much of this is hard science and how much it is psychology and behavioral science that you have to incorporate to study these patterns?
I think that's a great question. Of course, when it was all about automation and simplification, in the back office, it was largely hard science, physics of data, physics of scale and mechanics. But in terms of how a mobile system interacts with thousands of people. In fact, current predictions are 40 billion network connected devices before 2020. With a population last time I checked somewhere around 7. So it's not only the sort of psychological component. Usability and trust, I think, are the two underpinnings. I mean, we will not succeed in radically changing the healthcare experience and changing, we can change the order of magnitude of healthcare costs for routine monitoring through mobile connected instrumentation for blood pressure, for glucose. But those systems have to be trusted. If they're not trusted, we won't use them. So security is the underpinning to mobile devices and mobile control and mobile instrumentation, from finance to healthcare to automation to the transactions we'll happily carry out on our mobile phones is foundational.
Lastly, for a big company like yours, how do you keep the innovation going all the time? Because you have to be on the edge every single day.
We do.
And big companies are not always good at this. So there have to be an ecosystem within the big company to have this creativity on the edge all the time. I want to learn from you how you do that in a big company.
So it's always a challenge. The bigger the company gets, the tougher it is to really surface innovations to the top level. But as CA, we're really pushing the edge of that. In fact, we're just creating a brand new campus here in Santa Clara, just off the 101, where we're bringing together kind of 300 really highly innovative engineers and leaders to actually incubate around mobile and analytics in the company. But we have around about 40 development locations around the world, and each one of those locations has amazing people, and the key is, what I've seen in innovation is it usually happens where people are co-located. It's very rare for a group of work from home people to come up with an innovation over the internet. Right. It's not unheard of, but it's much rarer than 10 or 12 people who work together every day, see each other, work over play table tennis together, come up with ideas and can build the energy to pilot them. The challenges big companies have is actually capturing that energy and figuring out how to aggregate it up through the organization to a point where it can really get sponsored. Sure. And that's something that we are very, very focused on at CA. In fact, one of the things that we're doing is, as we look at drivers of innovation, and again, if you look at our company, 30 years old, we're a rich tapestry of folk who've been there almost for their entire careers. A lot of new grads coming in from university, where we really like to help them build and kickstart their careers in a very powerful environment. And of course, a lot of acquired organizations where we really keep and mentor and build with some of the best startup leaders in the business. And in fact, what you'll see is, as a startup leader or as an entrepreneur who works from a university position up, these are the people that are leading CA Technologies going forward.
Well, wishing you all the best. And again, thank you very much.
Very good. Great to talk to you.